Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new season of the Catch Podcast. This is episode number 2 for this season. Some of you may have caught the first one. If not, don't worry, it really wasn't that important. But now the rubber has met the road. We are in actual competition time. And of course, we've done really well. And we're currently third. So let's stop the season here and finish. How about that?
Stop the count.
Stop the count. It's over. Anyway, I'm joined here tonight once again by some lovely fellas. And Ash, how you doing? I'm going to start with you tonight.
Hang on, can I just check you on that? Some lovely fellas and Ash.
No,
Ash, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I think you're all right.
No, there was definitely a comma in there, but it was just verbally. So yes, some lovely fellas. Austen, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you. I'm in a good humour today.
Good to have you with us. It's been a long old summer. I don't think we've spoken that much, and I've missed you, my man. So, David, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, very well, thanks. A bit sad that I was in York for nearly a week and didn't manage to meet up with Austen, who lives quite nearby. But
I
next
didn't realise
time,
you were there for a week, David.
sorry.
I didn't realise you'd been there for a week.
5 days, 4 or 5, I can't remember anymore. But every time I looked, you were somewhere else. So, I'll be going back anyway. I loved it there. Great.
It's a great city.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, and finally getting round to Ash. How you doing, Ash?
All right, mate. Listen, because I've been wanting to say this for a while. It just has to do with us, Spurs. Given all the vagaries of ins and out of transfers, and it's going to continue on. Eze is not supposed to play today, and he did play. All that stuff. If we have a competitive season this year, where we look good and the young guys develop, which would be great. Our average age of our starting midfield yesterday was 20 years old. If we have a competitive season, it might well turn out to be that our best acquisition may turn out to be Thomas Frank, because I'm kind of impressed with just the way different things he's doing, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But forget about all the other ones. Maybe Thomas Frank was our best acquisition.
Thomas Frank or Johan Langer, who apparently was instrumental to bringing Thomas Frank in?
Well, that little team.
Of course, you could then take it another step back, and could you say Daniel Levy was the one who was instrumental? No, let's not go that far, because nobody wants to do that right now.
I do, because I think Daniel Levy's brilliant.
Oh, yep. we have had this conversation, and I'm kind of sticking where I was before. I've held Daniel Levy in quite high regard for a number of years, but over the last year or two, I just feel that we've always not taken that last step when we had the opportunity to, and that's cost us. And I think it cost us last summer when we were so close to having the kind of squad that the manager needed. Not mentioning his name. I am not mentioning his name. I'm definitely not going to mention his name. But we didn't have the squad that the manager needed. And then this season, we've purchased 2 of the players that really could have done him a lot of good, or purchased one, loaned one. And we're talking about bringing in another one as well that would have been ideal for him. So are we doing things a little bit too late? Are we finally getting things right? I don't know. It's at the end of the day, I have zero power in any of this, and I'm just along for the ride. But we have a tiny little platform here, and I will critique because I can. David's nodding along there.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I guess I go back and forwards on Danny Levy. I think there's just like no doubt. I'm more on Austen's side than I am on the Levy and any count side. But I do feel I would go further than the last year or two. I would say since the Champions League season, he hasn't done. He has not. The performance hasn't been good enough on the football field. From Danny Levy. I know he's not playing, but I mean, what he's done in terms of manager appointments and signings has not been appropriate for the last 5 or 6 years now. But in that time, he's also got this amazing stadium, and every season I think, oh well, maybe this is the season he gets it right. Get hit by the same thing again and again, But I don't see anyone better around. I think he's a great chairman. I think he does a great job. To be honest, I just wish he'd push it over the line this time. I wish he'd get, do. I don't know what's going on with Eze. It sounds like we're sort of haggling again, and I can imagine us haggling means we'll lose him probably. But
Yeah. By the way, Dave, you forgot to mention that 6 years we actually won the Europa League title as well.
Yeah.
Which is pretty. I'm still riding that high. Let me tell you.
No, I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. But I still think that globally over the 6 years, I don't think we've been good enough. I don't think signings have been good enough, and I don't think the appointments have been good enough.
I agree, but that's what I wanted to add. Agreeing with you on all of that and saying, but there was that little icing, May 21st, which was nice.
For me, it's either been too little or too late, and sometimes both. But as David said, I don't see who would be better that would come in, because I think we all know who the likely potential purchasers would be, and that is not actually a route I want to go down. I'm sure there are people who wouldn't mind, because hey, loads of money and we're going to be spending big on certain players, and and finally we'll get the squad building that we need, and the manager will get the proper backing. Except it probably wouldn't be the manager we've got. It'd probably be someone along the Mourinho or the Conte route. And we'll back them with big money, and we'll bring them in just like Chelsea did. Let's go for the sure thing manager that's going to win us something. And I don't want to go down that route. I would feel very, very ill at ease with that kind of path.
Yeah,
I think the biggest problem we had was sacking Poch, because Mourinho was a mistake, and Conte was a mistake, and what's his face was a mistake. The Notts Forest manager. I think if we'd stayed patient with Poch and actually backed him in the long term, although it has to be said that David Pleat said that Poch didn't want anyone to come in after the Champions League final, and so we didn't. We actually brought two players in. We brought Lo Celso and we brought Ndombele in, neither of whom turned out to be a success, which is a shame. But we spent big money on them. But we then got Mourinho and Conte, and I think they were an absolute disaster for the club.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think had Poch stayed, and if he'd got the right backing, we'd probably have been all right.
I think Poch was mentally exhausted and had come to the end of it by the time, even sort of 6 months before the Champions League final, it felt over for me. And that's not taking away from everything that he did. I absolutely love him, but I felt that he had to go, and I felt that some of the problems we had were because of Poch. And I just don't think he wasn't the same man anymore as the one that arrived. I think mentally he had really changed a lot, and it's sad, but I think his time was done. So I can't agree with you there, Austen, I'm afraid.
For me,
moving on, I think Thomas Frank is the best thing to happen to us. I think I have a feeling he's going to be brilliant.
I think I just said that. I said he might be our best acquisition of the season.
I agree with you, Ash.
Yeah.
Much as it pains me to agree with you, because you're Welsh. And
there is an article floating about talking about the importance of players and the unimportance of managers. And I do have a certain amount of agreement with that. I mean, managers are replaceable. Sometimes players aren't. We've seen how difficult it is for Harry Kane to be replaced. I think we're going to find it particularly difficult to replace Sonny. I think if Kudus was to leave, we would find it almost impossible to replace him, because despite the fact he's only been with us for like 5 minutes, he's already a really important player within the squad.
Absolutely.
And he is the pressure valve that if we're struggling, we get the ball out to him and he takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. I knew he was good. I wasn't quite aware he was this good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've got to say that when we signed him, I was kind of like, well, okay, it's good. That's a signing. I don't really know what I think about it. But in the 2 matches he's played, he's been great. And it looks like he seems to be creating quite a good double act with Richie. Because against PSG, they were both did an absolutely phenomenal work of shutting PSG down and holding up the ball and chasing back and stuff. Both of them together, it was an amazing work rate. And then yesterday, it was 2 assists and 2 goals between them. So it was promising signs of a kind of an understanding and a partnership between the two of them.
You know, that thing you just, Stu, the thing you just said about him, I only saw a bit of the game. That guy Mbeumo, who we somewhat interested in, I'm looking at him and comparing him to what we've seen for 5 minutes with Kudos. I'm going, we dodged a bullet on that guy. That guy's nothing like Kudos, you know, very, very sort of seemed very one-dimensional. And really, we got the right guy. So maybe going back to Johan Langer again.
I actually watched the Arsenal game, the Man U Arsenal game today, and he was probably the best Manchester United player on the pitch. So I think he probably would have done all right if he'd come to us. He's a good player in Burnley. But for me, the thing with Kudus is, I don't know if any of you watched the interviews that were afterwards, after the match.
Yeah, he speaks good English, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was in the Netherlands. You know, he spoke English even before he joined Ajax, and then he's been in England for 2 years. So, but no, the thing that stood out for me was he did an interview with Spurs Play, and they asked him about it, and he said it's up to me to learn how to give the ball to the attacker in a way that they want, and that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I think I did for Richarlison. And even the second goal, that magnificent second goal, he said, I put too much on it, and Richarlison made it look good.
Yeah,
Richarlison's second goal. Yeah. My God,
I know
that was a bit special, wasn't it? I've been a little bit harsh on Richarlison over the last few months.
We all have. Yeah,
I think I described him as glue a little while back. I don't think he's glue anymore. I think
I feel somewhat vindicated. I feel somewhat vindicated, although I admit that last season I did say that I love him and I think he's a great player, but I don't think we can deal with his injury record.
Absolutely.
Now the question is whether he can stay fit, because I knew that he could do what he's been doing these first 2 matches, but and also at the back end of last season, by the way, in the last few cup matches.
Dave, that goal that he scored yesterday, I was in the hospital when Brazil, we scored that goal of the tournament at the last World Cup.
Yeah.
It was as good as that, and that was the goal of the tournament. So he's got it in his locker. But I hope our medical staff is better than last year, and I hope that, as you said, I hope we can keep him healthy.
But I think it's also
yesterday I saw something different. I saw Richarlison smile. Yeah. I don't think I remember seeing Richarlison smile before, but yesterday he smiled when he scored the goal. And it looked like he suddenly felt comfortable in terms of where he was.
Yeah, I was just about to say something along those lines, Austen. That I think.
How dare you? I think my thing to say, not yours, David.
Well, I think Richarlison's quite a sensitive lad, actually. And I think he's been through the ringer. I mean, he talked about, was it the first season or the second season where he was consulting a psychiatrist because he was having depression. That's right. He's been through all those problems with people in his entourage betraying him and consistent injuries. I'm pretty sure that some players, they'll just soldier on and they'll get through it. But I think Richie's quite sensitive, and I think when he's feeling good, I think he can give the best of himself, and hopefully, and I think that also I think Frank is a manager that can improve players whatever their age. I think there's been quite a few testimonies from previous players that have played for him that even quite late in their career, Frank has noticed something in the way they play and changed it and improved them massively. So I think Frank is going to be good for Richie. And if
taking you on that, David, Thomas Frank has always had players that have led the line. At Brentford, he had players that led the line. He had the guy that's at Villa now, and he had
Ollie Watkins.
Exactly. And it struck me that he's got Richarlison, who yesterday I thought led the line in a way that we haven't seen for quite a while. Yeah. He was really good, and I think that is a Frank trait that he's imposed on the club. I was really impressed.
Austen, what do you mean by leading the line?
Something that goes up front, works, and actually commands the forward line. He leads the press. He holds the ball up. He just looked like previously Richarlison's worked hard, but he hasn't really imposed himself on a game. Yeah. But yesterday, I thought he imposed himself on a game, and on Wednesday, I thought he imposed himself on a game by actually being effective by doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
and I've not seen him do that before.
I think we've seen it in two fairly big games recently. We saw it in the Europa League final, which I think he was absolutely amazing.
No, that's a good point. Yeah,
probably his best performance since joining the club. That was.
By the way, that was on the left wing, in different position.
That was on the left wing. He wasn't playing up front, but he put himself about. He worked so hard, pressing, harrying. I said earlier that Kudus was our pressure valve. In that game, Richarlison was our pressure valve. We got the ball to him, and he took the pressure off by holding on to it, gaining fouls, occasionally wriggling away and doing something. He was so good in that game. Just really, really good. And then in that unfortunate European Super Cup final, that he was equally good. He was absolutely superb in that match. He was part of the reason we were 2 up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so heartening to see him doing so well. I think we saw a smile on his face in both of those games as well.
Yeah, if he can stay fit, then I think Solanke's got a bit of a fight on his hands for his place, because I think Richie offers the same work rate as Solanke, but I think he offers better hold-up play and perhaps more effective pressing than Solanke. And
Dave, maybe better goal scoring too.
Well, yeah, absolutely, because it's all very well the work that Solanke does, and it is fantastic. His tracking back and his closing down, it is brilliant. But sometimes, you need someone to be in the penalty area when the ball gets up there, and quite often Solanke was not in the right place. I don't know whether that's a fitness thing or a positioning thing, but yesterday, and to a lesser extent against PSG, because he did have to do an awful lot of defensive work. But he was doing the defensive work, and he was managing to get into the box to try and get on the end of things, And I think that's what Austen is saying in terms of leading the line. He's holding the ball up, he's closing down, he's making himself a nuisance for their defenders. So even if he doesn't get their shot away, he's making space for somebody, for a Kudus or a Johnson or a Pat to get a shot away. That's leading the line. He really makes it. He's a handful. He's a handful when he's on song.
Well, and he could well have scored a hat trick, because he had a chance early on in the game that took a smart save.
Yeah, absolutely.
He potentially should have had a hat trick in that game. But there was a chance late on for Solanke as well, in very similar fashion, where he wriggled and he got a shot off. Just that far away. And you're like, oh, well, maybe we're creating chances for the strikers in a way we weren't doing last season, because it did seem to be a bit of an issue for us. Ash, you were going to say something.
The third goal, which Dave was just mentioning, he held up the ball and then laid it off to Saar, who set up Johnson. So that's to your point you were just saying about even if he wasn't goal scoring, he was contributing, making space for us. We're gonna have like 55, 60 games best case scenario this year. No way Richie's playing all those games. So
no, that's for sure.
So we shouldn't be thinking that he's Solanke's got a fire on his hands, because he's going to be playing, and let's hope that it actually improves him, and he actually scores more goals and maybe lead the line better as well, as Austen was saying.
Yeah, but hopefully it'll make Solanke step up when he does come in.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
That's my point. Yeah.
I saw an interesting stat earlier today. Of his last 15 starts, Richarlison has scored 10 times.
Yeah.
Really?
In his last 9 starts at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, he scored 9 times. He's got a 100% scoring record in his last 9 starts at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Yikes. That's pretty good. I like that.
He's going to beat Clive Allen's record.
There could be enough games this season, or there could be enough games this season to do it. Oh, it's going to be a busy old season. It really is.
It was 47 goals. Was that what it was? 47.
I think so. It's either 45 or 47. I can never remember. A metric fuck ton of goals.
That is the official termage. Yeah, metric fuck ton.
Absolutely. What was the official? Sorry, what was it? Official metric tonnage.
A metric fuck ton.
Ashley mentioned 2 players a minute ago.
Yeah, we are going to be talking about other players, certainly.
And I thought that Sarr, his work rate. I said a year ago that Sarr reminded me of a young Vieira.
You did, Dawes. Yeah.
And he's looked so good. He really has. But also, three things. 3 players did things yesterday that I saw, which we don't see very often. Bergvall played a crossfield ball with the outside of his right foot.
Yeah.
Which was superb. It was sublime.
Modric does
Archie
that.
Gray played a through ball with the outside of his right foot, I think to Johnson, I can't remember, but it was absolutely superb. And then Johnson's finish
outside of his
for
right
the third
foot.
goal, the outside of his right foot. I just love players using the outside of their foot because it just shows they're confident and comfortable with their skill. And we've got 3 young players. And Johnson gets a lot of stick, but I think he's a really good player. But Bergvall and Gray, man, they're 19 for goodness sake. They're going to be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I was a little bit worried when I saw the lineup. I was like, that's a very young midfield. There's not a lot of experience in there. I mean, I know they played, using that official termage, a metric fuck ton of games last season. But, I thought there is a lack of experience in there. I expected that we'd see Palhinha start the game to give us that strength in midfield. And I absolutely think we'll be seeing that next week against Man City. But Pat Matasar, I mean, I went at one point going, this kid's just coming of age right in front of our eyes. He's amazing. He's doing brilliantly. And he was equally good in the Europa League final. And towards the end of last season, he was absolutely brilliant. And then Bergvall just also seemed to take things up a notch. And I was like, hang on a second, we got 2 of them. Wow, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I really don't know how we keep hold of players like this, because unless we are winning on a regular basis, not just a one-off trophy, there are going to be clubs coming in for these guys, because there's been talk just this summer of saying, oh, maybe we should let Pat Matasar go and create some space for others. Like,
I would have gone bonkers if we'd let Pat Matasar go, because I've always really liked him as well. I mean, he had a couple of down periods last season, but I think down periods along with the whole of the rest of the team, and I won't go into the reasons why I think those happen, because it sounds like I'm crying, which I'm not. But I think when I said that I think this is going to be Pat Matasar's breakout season. And I think but I completely, Austen, like Bergvall's passing, there wasn't just that one pass. There were a few that he was spraying it around with real expertise, with real finesse, real accuracy, and really creative.
He players with aplomb. He turned and he twisted, and he's going to be a great player. He's going to be up there with Hoddle, in my opinion.
Oh, high praise! Wow.
So we've got Hoddle, we've got Vieira. Pretty nice. We've got Clive Allen. We've got Chivers as well, unfortunately.
He's got 2 good feet. He's got energy. His energy level is enormous, and he's got confidence. I think he's a great player in the making. And I think Archie Gray, he played conservatively yesterday, except he became less conservative as the game went on. And I think we've got 2 fantastic players who are going to absolutely blossom.
Yeah, Archie Gray grew into it. I think after we had a really good first 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes, and then sort of I think I can't even remember who we were playing. Burnley, and then Burnley came into it quite a bit, and I felt like Archie Gray was struggling a bit in the second part of the first half, but I thought well, we managed to get away with it, and QT made a couple of really sloppy passes as well, passing it straight into the middle of the pitch where there was nobody. But we got away with it. And I think perhaps a more clinical opposition might have punished us on a couple of those. But the experience that Archie Gray got yesterday is invaluable. So I'm really glad. I was the same as Stuart. When I saw that midfield, I thought, oh, he hasn't given enough respect to Burnley. We might regret this. And I thought all three of them really showed up and proved that he made the right decision. So great management and great playing.
It was really brave management from Thomas Frank for his first Premier League game for Tottenham. Yeah, he'd already been in charge of one competitive match, but this was his debut as Tottenham manager in the Premier League, home debut.
Yeah,
and he dropped his experienced players. I mean, apparently Basuma's picked up an injury. But he dropped Bentancur, he dropped Palhinha, and chucked in effectively teenagers and a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Incredible.
Wow, that's really, really brave. How is this going to work out? And it worked out really, really well. But I didn't think he got the accolades for that decision from the press. I thought they kind of glossed over it as like, oh well, you're supposed to beat Burnley type thing.
But we beat one. How old is Pat? He's 22, right?
22.
And he was the elder statesman of our midfield. I mean, Jesus, it's insane.
Yeah.
And he really looked like it as well. He looked so good. I loved it. I loved it yesterday. I thought that was great.
Palhinha's 30, and we've probably only got him for a year, maybe two. Bentancur, love the guy. He's 28, moving on to 29. I don't think we're going to have to worry about those three guys, Stu. I think they're going to be our future midfield. Maddison's 28, going on 29. He may not play for a year, So this is our future, and he's doing it. I'm so proud that he was brave enough to go. Let's play him, and let's play Gray as the number 6. I'm sure Palhinha is going to help him by being there as a role model and help Gray perhaps become that position, become that number 6.
I think Gray could play 6 or 8 or 10. The guy is talented.
Same as Berreval. Berreval played all three for Jurgens.
Absolutely. Berreval's brilliant. But Gray has just got such... He sat back yesterday. He played simple passes. He knew his role. He showed the maturity to just play safe. But as the game grew on, he actually did more. And I think we've got 3 young players there who will all command midfields for another 10 years.
Yeah. Although it was absolutely wonderful when legs were starting to get a bit tired, and then they could chuck on Palhinha and chuck on Bentancur. We could just boss the end. We never even looked like conceding a goal, to be honest. After in the second half, after about the first 10 minutes, we were in total control, and there was another thing that was really enjoyable to watch. I really felt like the team were actually having fun. I think they actually they weren't grinding out the result. They weren't shutting it down to stay at 3-0. No. They were enjoying their football. And I think that is a really good feeling to have when you're watching the team and you're thinking they're enjoying this. They're actually just enjoying themselves out there. Brilliant.
Can I ask what you guys think about? He scored a lovely goal, Johnson, on the left, because if Kudus is starting on the right, Johnson has to be more flexible. What do we really think about this guy who was our top scorer last year?
I think he's going to score goals again.
I love him. I think he's the most natural finisher we've got at the club. He slots balls in, and he does it with aplomb. He also tackles back. He doesn't get much credit because lots of people say, he doesn't do very much. But he works hard. He tackles back. I've seen him making interceptions. No, he does. He's not a left winger or a right winger. He doesn't take people on and beat them and take them to the byline. But he finishes goals, and he actually works hard for the team. I think he's superb.
I think there's another string he could add to his bow. I think he's a great finisher. He's a great person who, he does work up and down. He works both ways, but he's not very good at taking people on. And I think it's something he does need to improve in that position. unless he's going to go and play through the centre in the future, which he could do. He could be a third central striking option for us. He's played there for Nottingham Forest before. He's played there for Wales, I believe. You know, I mean, also his international team is a bit of a problem. Going off and playing for some tin pot little side who's not going to do anything or qualify.
I agree.
I think it's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated, Brendan. But I think having Kudus on the right yesterday and him on the left, they offer different things, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree that he has added a lot more defensive work to his game over the last 12 months, which was not always been the case. I felt like sometimes although I thought that was instructions, I think quite often he was staying upfield because he was told to stay upfield. Now he gets back in defence, and that's good. I think he needs to weigh on the game more when he's not scoring. But I think we've got a manager that can improve him. I really do. I'm not sure if he'll get that much game time if we get Eze. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether Eze will play through the centre or on the left. But I agree that he could be a second striker, or a striker alongside a Richarlison or alongside a Solanke, taking advantage of that space that they create. That could work. I think that could be a good place. But yeah, he seems like a lovely lad as well.
Yeah, so he could be our potential fox in the box, whereas at the moment we've got a pigeon in the coop. So
you've been waiting to say that.
It's been on my mind. But yeah, no, we got some very good young players coming through. Let's have a quick chat about our new captain. How does everyone feel about Cuti Romero being chosen to be captain of Tottenham Hotspur with only 2 years on his contract and apparently not signing a new one just yet?
I think it's the most natural selection for captain.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of forced on them, wasn't it? I mean, last year it was Sonny as captain and vice captains of James Maddison and Cuti Romero, and now
and Vicario.
Well, Vicario was added later, but
he still is.
But James,
and he could be.
James Maddison's now out injured. There's a kind of general train of thought that you don't make goalkeepers captains, and I think we saw when Lloris was our captain that can be a bit of an issue because they're not up in getting in the game. Certainly, it doesn't seem to have blunted his edge at all. There was a couple of moments where you're like, "Oh, okay, we might get a yellow card for that."
He could have got a yellow card yesterday. Yeah, he really could have.
I did notice something yesterday, and that was in the team talk. I think it was in the first half rather than the second half.
Pedro Porro did it.
Pedro Porro was doing the team talk.
He speaks better English.
Yeah.
I noticed that he also had words with people at separate times during the game, and he looked like a real leader.
Yeah,
so Pedro Porro would have been my choice because Thomas Frank said we need someone that trains really well, that sets an example to the side, someone that's committed and someone that will be playing most games. And I'm like, well, for me, that's Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro came back 3 days early. He could have stayed on holiday for another 3 days. Came back 3 days early and came back with the kids. He was back with the under-21s. He was back before Solanke or anybody else. He had plenty of time left before he needed to come back. And he was out there doing the runs. He trains really hard. He's been an excellent player for us over the last, year, 18 months. He had a little few issues when he first joined. But last 18 months, I think he's probably been one of the best right backs in the league.
Yeah. I think he's fantastic and he's a great influence on the team. But I think Cuti was the right choice for the captain. But I would like to see Porro added as a vice captain. You're absolutely right. And although I have to say I was quite surprised by how well Cuti speaks English.
Exponentially.
His defensive play.
His defensive play has improved enormously.
And he's one of the best passers of a ball at the club right now because we're missing some creative passes, and he has actually got a fairly good range of passing on him. But yeah, the one thing I keep going back to, and it's been said many times, and I absolutely subscribe to it. You need more than one captain on the pitch. You need people who are going to pick up others and who are going to shout and they're going to say things. And I think we also have a youngster in Matisse Tell who is not afraid of telling players, no, that wasn't right. That wasn't what was needed at that time. I quite appreciate that. I understand why people are not so hot on him, because his performances have not been fantastic, but I think his mentality is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great mentality. Yeah, and yeah, I think I know the bit you mean. He got a pass when he was coming into the box that I'm not sure who it was, and he gave a right talking to
Pap.
Was it Pap? Yeah.
Oh, well, Porro did it too. Porro took a shot when Tell was actually in a better position for a pass.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we even saw it last season when he wanted to take the penalties. You can question whether that was, whether it should be happening like that. But at least he's got a bit of a fire in his belly, and I like that.
Cootie, can I say something about Cootie? Yeah. I noticed it yesterday. Yeah, he could have had a couple of yellows, but I wonder if the fact that he's actually captain, because he's probably chatting with the ref a little bit with his limited English, that he gets a little bit more of a pass on some of those yellows. He may. And the other thing is, being also captain, maybe he has to restrain himself 10% or whatever, and maybe won't get those red cards like he has in the previous seasons. So the captaincy could be good for him. Same thing with him, though. We got to keep him healthy.
Got to keep him happy too. Got to keep him happy because he's not been happy with the club at times. It's not just about, I think if he's stalling on his contract, it's because that was one of the reasons. I was a little bit down on him being captain when it was named, because I was thinking, do we really want a captain who has vocally criticised the club at times last season? Is that the right person to have as a captain? Well, I guess if he's accepted it, then I'm fine with it as well. But he has been pretty fiercely critical of Tottenham.
Yeah. That was my main concern, is the length of his contract. I want a captain who is clearly dedicated to the club. But then again, we had a captain last season who had 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like it was getting towards the end of his time.
Yeah. That was, by the way, Oz, that was a great thing you noticed. I noticed that about Porro. I think it was the second half, where he was actually leading the team chat, and he was pretty vocal about it as well,
Yeah.
So good to see that Romero would go, okay, you do it, type thing,
No, Cutie's English is good.
We need to talk about Jed Spence.
Oh, I love Jed.
Doesn't everybody love Jed? I mean, Jed's taken up a massive step in the last year. At the start of last season, he was like, is he even going to make the squad type thing? If we'd had another alternative left back, I'm not even sure he'd have made the squad. He was left out of the Europa. So, but to get from where he was last season to where he is now, where you're like, oh, hang on, is he now the number one left back? Because
in my book, he is.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I still have very, very high levels for Udogie.
Expectation?
Yeah, but I think he's a fantastic player. I think we were very lucky to get him, and I think if we get him back to where he was in his first season, he will walk through sides in this league. He's absolutely fantastic. But Jed Spence is different. Jed Spence is a much more direct. He will absolutely go at people, and defensively, he's so solid. I mean, we saw in the Super Cup him against Hakimi. Hakimi got nothing in that first 75, 80 minutes until some changes were made and allowed them in the game.
He takes players on and he beats them.
Yeah,
I mean, he twists and he turns. He's like an eel. He comes out with the ball at times when you think he just shouldn't.
He's using both feet now as well. It's not just stuck to the right foot. He's using his left as well.
Yeah,
he's becoming a lot more unpredictable. And I don't know if you saw, but there was a video clip that they did where, who was it? It was he and someone else were doing a martial arts training session with swords. And it's him and Pap. And Pap was like, what the hell am I? His eyes were huge. He was like, what the hell am I doing here? Type thing. But Jed was, okay, there's something I can learn here. And he was ultra respectful. He didn't need to be. He was ultra respectful. And he was like trying to learn the technique and doing his best to do it correctly. And I thought, this is a guy who's got his head screwed on straight. people go on about him being, oh, well, he's a little bit arrogant and stuff like that. I don't see that at all. I see a guy who's extremely confident in himself. And because of that, he can maybe be seen as being too laid back. But just that level of confidence in himself allows it to just wash over him. People can complain about him and stuff like that. I don't think he'll give a crap.
Hey, can we call him our Jedi warrior?
Oh, I don't know. We had the Jed ones last year with the redemption.
Stuart, remove Ash from the video, please. Don't pass go. Don't collect £200. Remove him.
I think Jed as left back ahead of Destiny Yogi, what I massively prefer about Jed is that when he's in the attacking phase and he's moving forwards, he has his head up and he makes passes and he sees what's going on. And I've always felt that Destiny tends to run down blind alleys and keep the ball too long and not get his head up and see passes. And I think Jed is, just on that alone, Jed is a better option. But I also think Jed's been fantastic defensively, just not put foot wrong, really. And I thought he was like that most of last season as well. I think he is definitely in the same mold as Richarlison, that there's a lot of emotion, despite the fact that he's an unbelievably cool dude, which he really is. He is so cool.
He really is.
I think he gets affected by stuff. So things like the way Conte blanked him, he said it. He said it was like running into a brick wall and it destroyed his confidence. And I think that went for a lot of the reasons why there were apparently problems. I'm not sure what they were, but he really lost confidence. I wouldn't be surprised if he was pretty pissed off when, having played extremely well in left back, when Udogie came back and played the important matches and he got relegated to the league matches. I was pretty pissed off, to be honest, even though I have nothing against Udogie and I think he's a great player. I did feel like, I felt like what could Jed have done differently to keep his place? I think there was nothing he could do. So as Jed, you kind of going to go, well, all right. So, and I think that might have been some of the reasons why perhaps his performance right at the end of the seasons were not as good as what he'd seen in the rest of the season, because I think his head does go down when he's not respected. And I think his head goes down when he doesn't feel loved and appreciated by his manager.
Good point.
He certainly didn't get any love or appreciation from Conte, who apparently Conte was, involved in signing the player and choosing him. And then when he came in, the first thing he talked about was like, oh, he's a club signing. He's not a signing for me. He's a club signing.
Dick.
He's like,
Dick.
You. Yeah, we'll go with that word because it's better than the one that I've got on the tip.
Yeah, I'm holding back for once.
Sounds like Conte. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly that word. Right. Okay. Yeah. We're all on the same page.
That word. There you go.
All right. So we played and won against Burnley. We played extremely well against Paris Saint-Germain and we're unlucky, I feel, to not come away with a win on that one. Are we feeling extremely positive for the season ahead?
Well, let me just use that PSG match to underline what I'm going to say about the season ahead. The difference in that Super Cup or whatever it's called was the substitutions.
Yeah.
Ours came on and didn't produce. Theirs came on. I think one of them scored and one of them set one up.
They both scored. Kang In came on.
There you go. Okay, so they both scored. I couldn't remember that it was. So the difference was the substitutions, and so I think that speaks to the fact that we still lack depth. We potentially have 60. We potentially have 60 games to play. We need a couple more players in, and this is where I'm really looking at Danny Levy and saying, don't start frigging around and haggling over $1 million here and $1 million there on the upfront fee for Eze. Just get it done, for fuck's sake. I'm not so worried about the Manchester City player. I think he looks like a good replacement for Timo Werner to me today. But Eze, I really think we need to make sure we get him done. I think that we need it, and then after keep it healthy. But I'm feeling very confident. I liked Frank. I wanted Frank. I would have liked Frank before, if we could have got him before. I think he's what he's put into place in such a short time is extraordinary. We look well organised defensively. The midfield looks organised. The press looks not like a dishevelled bunch of people running after the ball, but it looks like an actual press. And despite everything, set pieces, some great set pieces stuff going on, which is brilliant. And we're saying that Frank has been concentrating on getting the basics of the defensively right, but I feel like the players look like they know what they're doing when they're going forward as well. I think the offensive play looks already massively improved with Frank. I'm really happy. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good man manager. He improves players. We've got players that will really benefit from him. So I don't know whether we'll have a great season. I think it depends on whether we can keep people fit and get enough top players in to back up. But I'm really happy with the way things are going right now.
I think the interesting thing about the PSG team, so 9 Ballon d'Or nominees in that side.
Yeah.
9. I mean, that is an expensively put together side with one of the best managers in the world.
Yeah.
So, you might admire the way they play football. And I do. I like watching PSG. I don't particularly like the team.
I have no admiration for the club.
I don't like the club. The team, I quite the players themselves, I look at and go, wow, there's some fantastic players. And Bradley Barcola is a great player. Destiny. No, not Destiny. What's his name?
Doué.
Desiree Doué. An excellent player that, we really would have been nice if we'd got him instead. But hey, it's time to move on and see what we get in the future. So
just one more thing about Thomas Frank. I know I've already gone about him, and I think I might be in love, but I just think it's worth pointing out. I think it's fantastic that he changes selection and he changes formation according to what he has available and who he's playing, and then he comes up with a game plan that he then can get across to the team and has it executed. And I think that's fantastic. I think that augurs well for his management period. Brilliant.
Which goes back to my initial statement that he could be our best acquisition of the season. He may turn out to be that.
I hate to agree with you, but I agree with you.
I don't agree with you, but that's just because I'm like that.
I do wonder at some point whether he's going to throw a double bluff. He's going to say, right, against the big teams, I suspect we'll be playing 3-5-2 against, or some kind of variation on that against Manchester City. At some point, having played that in 4, 5, 6 games against the top sides, whether he then goes, no, in this one we're playing 4-2-3-1 or something like that, and just throws a little spanner in the works, because that'll be set up for him to play one way and he does it different.
It's a brave person that tries to predict what Thomas Frank's going to do after that midfield selection this weekend.
Absolutely.
So
much potential.
Those 3 things he said: brave, aggressive, and there was another A word that he mentioned, but you've already mentioned that earlier. It was brave for him to put those 3 young guys in midfield, and he may well do that in some game where we're surprised that he does that, And it's good to rotate them because you're getting them up to speed. Somebody said, why should we rotate right now? Well, because you want to have the squad up to speed because we're going to need them. So, bring them on. Bring on these young guys. I love seeing these kids. Hey, what do we think about this? He was on the bench, wasn't he, Vuskovic? I don't think he got on though yesterday, did he?
He didn't.
No, he didn't get on.
He didn't. But he's still around. So
but apparently we want to loan him. I think if we can find a loan for him.
We want to unload. Did you say unload?
No,
we want to
loan
him. Yeah.
Loan. Oh, I thought you said unload or load or unload. Okay.
I suspect we won't loan him out. I think he might stay.
Possibly.
He's been linked to Hamburg, which is where his brother is contracted. I say is contracted because his brother's currently serving a fairly lengthy ban for some performance enhancing drugs type things. So but Hamburg probably wouldn't be a bad club to send him out to. I think it's always a good place. Germany is a good place for players to go. because we've seen players come from Germany and adapt pretty quickly. We've seen it at Tottenham. Other clubs have seen it as well. So it would be nice if he can go somewhere, get a lot of football under his belt, like he did in Belgium last year, and come back ready to go next season. But at the same time, that means that we then cannot use him as an under-21 player in European competitions until he becomes a senior player. He will then become registered as a homegrown at club with us.
Okay.
Well, do we have enough strength? Because both of our starting centre backs who played our first 2 games, and there's no way they're going to play every single game. First of all, they're not going to play every single game. Second of all, they were our most injured players last year. Do we have enough strength at love Danso, by the way, with just Dragishin, who we don't know when he's coming back, and Ben Davis? So isn't there something to be said for even for that homegrown or academy trained or whatever that clause is there, Stu? Maybe there is something to be said for keeping him.
Well, we've got Kota Takai as well, but he is currently injured.
Right.
Apparently word was that we were looking to send one of them out on loan, but then Takai got injured and he's probably not going to be fit for the loan period. So he's unlikely to go out on loan. So do we take the risk is the big question. The fact is that Vuskovic can play left, he can play right, very much like Danso in that way. But if we're going to be playing 3 at the back, we're going to need more defenders.
Absolutely.
We've also got Archie Gray, who played in central defence last year. He put in a pretty decent shift.
But it'd be nice to see him, focus a little bit more on this number 6 thing. But yeah, he's definitely there and available for that.
Oh, I agree with you, Ash. I'd rather see him in midfield.
Yeah.
But he actually did a very decent job.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
There's also been a lot of talk about us being linked to Piero Hincapi, who's playing out in Germany, I think, at the moment. He's a very good player, can play on the left, can play left back as well. So he would effectively fill two slots for us. I think if he comes in, then I think absolutely Vuskovic will be going out on loan because we're going to want him to be getting that experience.
Does it matter what league he goes on loan to for the homegrown thing? If he goes to an English team, does that make a difference to what you were saying earlier?
It's length of time. If he goes out for a season-long loan, then it stops it. He can go out for one loan, but it has to be less than a season loan. So he goes out for 6 months or something like that. That's fine. He can only go out for 1 6-month loan. He can't go out.
Okay.
I think that's the reason why people like Ashley Phillips can't be registered as homegrown or can't be under 21.
Talking of loanees, I thought ours have done quite well at the beginning of the season. Donnelly with a rather lovely assist, as far as that I saw and thought was very good.
That was really nice. That was very, very intelligent play.
Yeah, Archie Devine scored a lovely goal.
Alfie.
Alfie Devine, yeah, thank you.
Gray,
Alfie Devine scored a really lovely goal. Mikey Moore got an assist, but I think it was rather like Vertonghen's Puskas assist for Son. I think it was like a short pass and it counts as an assist, but still.
It was more like Tom Carroll's assist against, was it West Ham for Gareth Bale? More like that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know if you've seen, I looked up the highlights of the Rangers match. He was really good.
Okay.
And they kept trying to get the ball to him. So they obviously think he's a player who's important and can do some damage to opposition. Because I think trying to get the ball to him.
I think it was a bit of a was it a cup match against a lower league team?
Yeah,
Alloa. Yeah. I'd never heard of them. And then who else? Ashley Phillips was in a 3-0 win.
Big Willie Maxia got his goal today.
That was one I wanted to go for. Yeah. He got his first goal there. So a nice start to the season for the loanees. I was pretty pleased.
Does anybody here think that any of the loanees maybe shouldn't have gone out?
No. I'm a little bit conflicted on Mikey Moore because I think Mikey Moore's a fantastic player and I want to see him in Spurs colours. But he apparently was pushing to go out on loan, and he talked to Jermaine Defoe, who of course played for Rangers, and he was very, very high on the idea of going to the Rangers and playing there. And if he's going to get a lot of football, Okay, great. If he sticks around here and he gets 20 matches, okay, those are reasonable numbers, but it's not a standout player in the squad where he has the opportunity to do that in Scotland with Rangers.
I was quite pleased with the Mikey Moore loan because I think he's very close to being, a first team player, and I think what he's missing is a full season playing men's football at a reasonably high level, and I think that he's going to get that at Rangers. So I think he's going to come back in a year's time, and I think he'll be a first team player when he comes back. I think I was a little bit sad that Alfie Devine has gone out on loan with an option to buy. So it looks like his time with us is done.
I'm with you on that, David. Because I thought that he was a first team player in the making.
Yeah, but I guess
it depends how much that option is. If it's a high option, then it might be a case of they can only afford to buy him if they come up.
Yeah, but it means that we're open to him leaving one way or another.
Yeah.
But I guess they see him and they can see his development, and they don't think he's gonna make it at the level we need. The only one that I would possibly have kept would have been Jamie Donnelly in the absence of a 10. That in cup games, he could have got some good experience playing as a number 10. But the problem is, could Thomas Frank really risk having Jamie Donnelly as his 10 against Cambridge United in the Carabao Cup and possibly not performing and possibly going out because he didn't have the strongest team? It's such a tough thing to be a top coach, so I suppose it's fair enough, but I would have liked him to have stayed around because I think he's pretty special, to be honest.
Jamie Donnelly is older than Lucas Berrival. So.
Yeah.
But then mental. Lucas Berrival is a mental player. He's a fantastic player. Yeah. As I said, just watching him play, I was like, wow, this kid's so good. Pat Madsart, wow, this kid's so good.
Yeah.
Wow, this guy's so good. The Rabona control with a little toe touch. It's like, oh, come on.
That was amazing.
The Rabona control was great. And then just the little toe touch to get it into perfect position. I was like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing to watch. So yeah, more of that throughout the season, please. Okay, shall we? Well, I think we're going to be talking transfer window throughout the rest of this month, but should we have a quick look forward to Manchester City next Saturday? What do we expect?
Always do well against them, and I'm sure Frank will set us up well to compete with them, and that's the best.
We always do well, but Son also plays extremely well against them, and we don't have him anymore. So.
Yeah. What's just a question? Because I haven't looked this up. What is Thomas Frank's record against top 5, top 6 clubs? Is it any good?
Very, very good.
Okay, so we can expect him. Yeah, I suspected it would be. So he'll probably be like at the moment putting together his game plan, and deciding the way he's going to approach it, and it's not going to be one size fits all. He'll definitely be tweaking the formation. I'm sure we'll see Palhinha, we'll see Bentancur. We might still see Sarr though, I suspect.
Oh yeah. Maybe Eze will play. Who knows?
That would be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Paulinho.
Paulinho.
Savinho.
We don't want Paulinho to be playing.
Savinho.
Rubbish.
Savinho, I meant.
Paulinho, yeah. Or Savinho, maybe, if Savinho comes in. But I think they might just hold that back or have some kind of agreement. He doesn't play against them next Saturday lunchtime.
Oh,
we might go 5-3-2 again. But he might have already showed his hand playing PSG like that, so he might not want to do that.
But there's different ways of playing that formation. It doesn't have to be that way. You can play it defensive. You can play it in a high press like he did against PSG.
Yeah,
I thought he played very, very well. So I think he'll have a plan in place. His record against the top 5, top 6 is extremely good. I think it's better than pretty much anyone outside the top 5 or top 6. The worry is he's very good at beating those above him. He's very good at beating those below him. It's the ones around him.
Okay.
Yeah, which So,
well, hopefully the ones around him will be the top 5.
well, let's hope so. Absolutely, that'd be nice.
Good way to put it.
I'm still kind of thinking that 7th would be a reasonable season this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I think he's brilliant, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Maybe next season.
Does the 7th?
We've been saying that for so many years, David. Maybe next season.
The 7 won't get us into any European cup, right? 5th and 6th does, right?
Yeah. 7th, I think, would get us into either the Conference League or the Europa League, depending on who wins the League Cup or the FA Cup.
Well,
but, you know,
we're not gonna get 5. We're not gonna get 5 teams in. We've got 6 in the Champions League this year, don't we?
Yeah.
Wow.
But in terms of like the season, I'm just going to go back to what I think I've always said. I don't really care that much. What I care about is the way we play. I just want us to, if we can be playing like we did against Burnley and like we did against PSG, just let the chips fall where they fall. I'll be happy if we're playing proper football. You know, that's all I want. Like well organized, creative. If we can do that, then that's all I want. I'm not particularly demanding, to be honest. I just want us to play the right way.
I do have video of you celebrating like nobody's business when
have no
when
memory
we won the Europa League. There is video proof of it.
All right, I do care. Yeah, I do care.
You absolutely care.
I actually do care, and it is an amazing feeling. But at the same time, I would much rather have 52 weeks of happiness rather than 5 minutes of joy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right. Okay, so our next one will be on Sunday, the 24th of August. We'll be back then to talk about that Manchester City game. I hope you gents will be able to join me on that occasion. But until then, thank you everybody for coming, and come on, you Spurs.